didn't need to come down the aisle in your
motorcycle.
No, it wasn't a motorcycle. That was a tricycle on steroids.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with your wife on the back, you don't every year you don't need to have this elaborate entrance. No, okay, to rip off The Rock. Know your role and shut your mouth.
That's true.
Know your role. You're in the middle of the card. You don't need this spectacular entrance. Give it to the main event.
You're right.
Don't try to steal the show. Try to steal the show in the ring. But know your role.
They didn't need it because he was fighting against Sting.
No, that's the Terminator.
The Terminator
thing.
one.
Yeah,
He was fighting against Sting. So
and
I mean,
that's already the spectacular.
that's all right.
With NWO and DX coming out,
Exactly.
you already have it.
Exactly.
You're already almost gonna steal the show just with that. But then again, see, that match wasn't like this spectacular, like oh, look at the athleticism. What drew you in was it's
nostalgia.
an icon.
Yeah, it's nostalgia.
Nostalgia. You got the icon. You have Triple H, which I'm on the fence sometimes on how good Triple H really is. I think a lot of times he just rips off Ric Flair, to be honest, but he does it very good, and he's good. He's a good wrestler. He's a storyteller, but he's not as great as they try to portray him to be. He's no Shawn Michaels to me.
But
he's no Bret Hart
right.
to me.
But don't you think with the big entrances, like Triple H, we already know he's had a big entrance. He had the King of King entrance when he sat on the big old the gold throne.
Uh-huh.
The Conan gimmick.
Then he had the Terminator. He's had the one where he's on the little tricycle, and then he's had the one where he's on the motorcycle. Don't you think? Every year, though, I think it's kind of like Undertaker, where we're looking forward to seeing. All right, what else are they going to do? What's his entrance going to be this year?
Yeah.
What's he going to do differently? For me, it's not a Triple H entrance, but what I was asked yesterday, what was your favorite entrance at WrestleMania? And I started thinking, like, damn, well, who's had entrances besides Triple H and John Cena, and of course the Undertaker? But my favorite entrance is the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. When Shawn Michaels comes from the heavens in white, and the Undertaker comes from hell in black. That for me is the most memorable WrestleMania entrance of all time for me, at least in my opinion.
To me, was Undertaker WrestleMania 20. So Undertaker is gone for a long time, and you haven't see the internet wasn't as big as it was today, where they find pictures of Undertaker at the airport with gray hair and slouching because he's tired, and then make him out to be he's just some poor old man now, So we haven't seen the Undertaker for a long time, and they're teasing him, and he's been the American badass for a few years now. To hear and it I mean, compared to like that entrance that you said, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, this was a particularly simple entrance, but it was everything leading up to it and the feeling during it, where you hear, "Oh yes," and here comes Paul Bearer and the Druids. And then, so they come out, and you just hear like Druid music.
They all have the torches, I think, facing this way.
And then you hear, dong, and the lights go out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, oh my gosh. So it's like a entrance before the entrance. It's a pre-entrance.
Yeah.
And then here comes the return of the dead man. I was going crazy for that. Right. Plus, WrestleMania 20, you had Chris Benoit winning the championship, and you had Eddie Guerrero with that fantastic performance against Kurt Angle.
Yeah, there were some good
ones. This year's WrestleMania is going to be about 7-8 hours, let's say. What match? Okay, realistically, right now, you have, and this goes for anybody on Instagram, if we have any viewers or listeners. You have Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. You have Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. You have Daniel Bryan looking like it's going to be Kofi Kingston. You have those 3 matches. And you have, of course, Triple H Batista. That's going to be on the card. Which match of those 4 would you have actually close out WrestleMania? I have my pick, but let's hear yours, Mr. Shakes.
I think the triple threat match with the women, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. I don't think we've ever had a female match close WrestleMania. That would be interesting to see.
I would have agreed with you at before the Royal Rumble, or not even before the Royal Rumble. I would have agreed with you up until the Raw after the Rumble, or 2 weeks after the Rumble, because I honestly thought
I would have definitely said if it was just Ronda and Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
But I think this whole match with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda has lost its steam.
But you never know. See, that's the thing about WWE.
Adrian Reese says the women's.
They could make it seem like Charlotte got injured in the ring, and it could still end up Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. So, things can happen.
Right.
And then, of course, if that happens, let's say she tweaks her ankle, and I'm not trying to jinx her, but let's say the gimmick is she's gonna twist her ankle in the ring,
right?
Charlotte Flair, and so now she can't compete, and she's on the sidelines there, and she's hating herself because she can't get back in the ring. And now you just see Ronda Rousey on one side, and you see Becky Lynch. Don't you think the crowd's gonna pop? The crowd's gonna pop.
I think the crowd would pop, but I feel like it's lost its steam because by adding Charlotte and the whole runaround with trying to get Becky in the main event, I think it just killed the.
Well, that's happening a lot now with Vince McMahon's decisions right now.
Yeah.
Look at how many people popped when it was Kofi and Daniel Bryan. Then all of a sudden they changed it, and then keep going back and forth with this stuff. And
what's your pick? If you were booking it, what match would be the closer?
Okay, just to start it off, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Triple H versus Batista as the closer.
It might be. Sean is a special referee.
And he drives down with, instead of a tricycle, a four-wheeler with his wife and the kids in the back.
Twin Forever 87 says, I agree, the match lost something when they made it a triple threat.
And it did. It did. But I honestly still do think that will be the main event. Because Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan doesn't have enough steam. Doesn't have enough longevity yet to be pushed as the main event.
And nor will it.
Yeah.
But well, that's my pick.
Sorry. But really quick, what you're saying, not will it? That's because it's not about Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston anymore. It's about Kofi Kingston being in the main event.
Right.
You could replace Daniel Bryan at this point. So it's no longer about the championship.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some comments before I say Batista coming out as Drax. This is really cool guy. Tony Larson, 23, says he thinks it's going to be Triple H and Batista as well. I honestly think it should be Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. And not because I'm a Daniel Bryan fan.
No, yes, because you are a Daniel Bryan.
But I think there's...
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you would have seen... What was the pay-per-view we were watching?
It's not important, okay?
It was important.
It was the Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. If you would have seen David's face at the Elimination Chamber when it came down to Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, I'd never seen David sweat so bad that day of possibly losing that title.
Right. And then when he won...
Oh, he was smiling galore.
Well, it reminded me of those old black and white films where they showed the girls going crazy for the Beatles.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh! And like to the point of almost fainting.
And as he's like literally wiping all the sweat that came off like Gatorade off that commercial Gatorade, he's like, I wasn't worried a bit.
I wasn't worried. Let me say this. Daniel Bryan is the greatest champion of all time.
And
I honestly, the way you started that, I thought you were gonna like propose to him live on.
He is the greatest WWE champion of all time.
I'm sure you get on one knee for him, but that's a different story.
If he was at Home Depot, I would have said yes.
That's probably why he's missing some of the stones on his title.
Probably. I would have said this one's on the house. But anyway,
he's eco-friendly.
Yeah, exactly. The reason I think Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston should honestly close out WrestleMania, you have to look at it. Of course, we're all looking at the women's match from a historical point of view. But we also have to look at the fact that Kofi and Daniel Bryan has an historical point of view, because Kofi winning the WWE title, the actual WWE title, would make him the first ever black WWE champion.
True.
Why not give him? This is history.
Wait, but
why not? And not
everybody
The Rock.
keeps
The
saying
Rock is mixed.
All black. All black.
It's history in the making. I mean, why wouldn't you want to give this historical moment?
You know what?
Wait, Hulk Hogan.
No.
Sure, brother. Because everybody was saying it, brother, so I had to say it too, brother.
I think you have to look at it that way. You're going to have your first African American WWE champion. And
WWE champion.
Yeah, because Mark Henry and Booker T
were world
champions. They never carried the WWE title. I mean, why not give Kofi Kingston, who's been there 11 years?
You tried to tell Booker T that, didn't you?
Okay, but going by that same logic, he's been there such a long time. Then let's just make the Brooklyn Brawler the champion then.
But Brooklyn Brawler was never IC champion, tag team champion, US champion. Kofi was everything except the main champion.
Yeah, okay, so you heard it here first. Next year at WrestleMania 36 in Tampa, Florida, the Brooklyn Brawler is going to become Grand Slam champion in one night.
And Kofi's over right now. This is probably the most over he's going to be for a while.
No, he was pretty over at one point.
When Randy Orton called him stupid.
When he had the Jamaican accent.
Well, so did Shelton Benjamin. Look where that happened.
Shelton should have been champion.
Yeah.
I honestly think, Mark Henry should have been WWE champion. Booker T should have been WWE
Booker
champion.
T, yes. I agree with Booker T.
I think Mark Henry, after the whole retirement angle with John Cena, he should have been WWE champion. Yeah. I think Shelton Benjamin, after that great match with Shawn Michaels on Raw, and he was starting to pick up steam, he should have. But no, what did they do? They stuck him with his mama.
Yeah, because not only that, but he had all those really good matches with Triple H, and Triple H couldn't get a win off of him.
Why didn't they? It's just this.
Go back though. You need to go back, and you need to see his charisma. He had his body had charisma. But on the mic, certain things he had no charisma.
Right. But Kofi has right now. Kofi has the charisma. He's hot right now. The New Day's hot. You can even, if he does well, ratings maintain the same or even pop with Kofi for a while. SmackDown's ratings pick up. Maybe even do the tease of the breakup with the New Day.
Well, that's going to be
Big
relevant.
E turns on him.
Well, here's okay. So
Ron Simmons was WCW champion, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was not WWE champion.
Damn.
We've kind of moved a little forward, and we've already talked about who's kind of gonna win the match in a way,
right?
Well, this is a pre-show.
Well, here's the thing. Let's look at the main titles. We got the women's triple threat,
right?
We've got Seth versus Brock,
which I don't think Seth Rollins will win.
No, but that's the thing. Here's the thing. That's like, you gotta get the title off Brock already.
I agree. But see, I don't think Seth Rollins is over enough to take it.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Vince keeps saying that all these people want Brock to be champion. I'd like to meet a couple of them because the guy is boring. I'm sorry. The guy has no mic skills. I mean, thank God for Paul Heyman. To me, he's sloppy in the ring, and that's the Universal Champion. That's what you want representing Raw.
Is he on Raw?
Yeah, supposedly.
when he shows up.
Supposedly,
when he shows up. I mean, Seth Rollins, okay, yeah, is he sloppy sometimes? Does he injure people? Yes.